Welcome back. It is summertime and many kids are visiting their pediatricians to get those annual physicals done. And part of the visit is assessing the growth and development of that child. So the discussion of weight is something that may be coming up when that happens, but that can sometimes be an uncomfortable conversation to have for some people. So in today's Eye on Health, we're going to actually talk about how you can have that conversation effectively. Joining us is Dr. Zina Al-Rufai here to share some of the do's and don'ts about touching this very sensitive topic. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So first, why is this something that's so uncomfortable for some people to address?
I think it's just a sensitive topic in general, and many parents are concerned that if they talk about it or bring it up, they're worried they may cause an eating disorder in their children, so they tend to just shy away from it altogether.
Okay, so they don't want to say the wrong thing and then trigger something worse.
Correct.
So they just avoid it.
They avoid it, because there are some right and wrong things to do.
Okay, well, simply put, how do you get things started in the right way, in a healthy way?
Yeah, so I think first of all, you don't want to focus too much on the weight number itself when you're talking about a child. We like to focus on healthy habits overall and trying to teach your child how to live in a healthy way. And the best way you can do that is by leading by example. So I like to tell parents, like, you be the role model. You've heard the old saying that, do as I say, not as I do, but young children tend to do what you do and not what you say. So they're looking at adults and they're looking at us for guidance so we can show up as the best role models for them.
Okay, and you bring up a good point, because with so many sodas and snacks and candies, a lot of kids have access to a lot of that stuff all the time.
Yes.
So is it something that the whole family should get involved with?
Yes, I think it's always best. I always say, like, if there's one child who has a weight issue but others don't treat that one child separately. Some parents say, well, I have one kid who can have this and one who shouldn't. And I say, well, do we all need to have this, really? Like, we can all try to make healthy choices as a whole family, and I feel like it's more successful when you do it all together.
Okay, and if someone's not necessarily going to the doctor, but they think something may be wrong, are there ways that you can know and identify right away that there may be a problem there and you do need to seek some professional help?
I think if you're referring specifically to if they could have an eating disorder, there are some things that you can look for, red flags. If you suddenly notice your child restricting complete groups of foods, or suddenly following some new rules about foods, or becoming very obsessive about their appearance, wearing really baggy clothing, exercising in an increased duration or intensity than what they've done before, and just really preoccupied with their appearance can definitely be red signs.
Yeah, and speaking of, sometimes kids don't open up, but if they do, and you're hearing things like, I'm fat, I don't like the way I look, that can also be uncomfortable, but how do you address that? How do you start to navigate getting the help there?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First, I say get curious. Depending on the age of the child, they may make comments that they don't really understand what they're saying. So I just ask, like, why do you say that? Or, what do you think that means when you're saying those words? If you have an older child who really is concerned and you're worried about things, you can just start by saying, acknowledging their feelings. Like, I see you're having a difficult time or difficult with feelings. Can we talk about it? Tell me more. And then just get factual. If they say, well, I'm fat, you can just say, well, everyone has fat. We all have fat. Fat does serve a role in our body. It stores energy for us, keeps us warm. And then just focus on what things do for our body and not focus on the appearance of the body.
Yeah, and it can happen very easily. We've even seen some celebrities talking about body dysmorphia and those things. Do you think social media can sometimes play a role in how young people then view themselves?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back in the day, it used to be just magazines and TV, but now it's all over the place. And kids are seeing these images at younger and younger ages even. And things are photoshopped and edited, so they have this perception that we have to be perfect. So, I try to say limit their exposure to social media as much as possible, and just focus on that, we want to celebrate all bodies, all shapes, all sizes, and just focus on what's healthy, because being thin doesn't always equal being healthy.
And then going back to eating, sometimes with kids it can be tough to get them to want to eat certain things. Is there any way that parents can look at that in a way where it won't be so stressful, just introducing those healthy options?
Absolutely. First, just relax. We don't have to over-obsess about every single thing your child is eating. You got to let kids be kids to some degree, but you can have some respectful boundaries, and just kind of present foods as good foods. All foods are good, but there might be better and best choices that we can have so that there's no bad foods on the list. And just encourage them to try to eat more of the good and just add in, this is good, but how can we make it even better?
Really quickly, I want to ask you too, summer break is here. What about the excessive snacking?
Yeah. So I always try to encourage them to listen to their body. So if you see a child who's just snacking and they're just playing video games and back and forth, you just say, hey, are you hungry? How can you tell that you're hungry? Or, maybe we have some water and then we get back to it. And I really encourage not eating while distracted. So if they are playing or whatnot, like, let's take a break from the games, let's have our meal, and then let's go back to the games again.
All right, some great points, Dr. Faith. Thank you so much.
Thank you.